And ANC Secretary General Magashule's faction of the province's leadership battle may have been dealt a blow as the NEC decided to suspend the recently elected Provincial Executive Committee. Now, the spat between Magashule and former Deputy Provincial Chairperson Thabo Manyoni reared its ugly head during campaigning for national leadership and also peaked during the Provincial General Council as well as Elective Conference. We're now joined by Ishmael Modiba to give us more clarification from the Free State. Well, Ishmael, I suppose we need to know that the Free State has particularly similar problems as the KwaZulu-Natal province. But do you think this proposal to suspend, and maybe just clarify for us, what does it mean? Are they disbanding or are they suspending the Provincial Elective Council?
Well, good morning. Let me just tell you that here in the Free State, remember that they were supposed to have also held their provincial conference sometime during the 2017, and they were toing and froing. You'd remember that one of the challenges that they had in the province, and that is the disgruntled group that were calling for the disbandment of the Provincial Executive Committee that was in the office. They were saying they have now reached their sell-by date of being in the office. They need to go to a provincial conference. And concerted attempts were made by the disgruntled group so that they can have the provincial conference. And I remember in August, the provincial conference that was supposed to be held, it was later turned into a cadres assembly, and because of the disgruntled group were not happy about the processes that was followed then, because they felt that the branch general meetings were not properly curated. They felt that some of the people who took part in those meetings were not legitimate members of the ANC who were supposed to have been in those meetings. But the group continued. They continued to fight up until they took the matter to court. And up until in December, we have seen that in December, the Bloemfontein High Court had finally declared that the ANC conference that was held in Paris, the outcomes have been declared null and void. Yeah. Meaning that Magashule, who was elected as the provincial chair with his PEC, they can no longer continue with the activities. And that's the situation now. We are now waiting to hear what would be the outcome. But with me here is Mr. Ralebese, who is a member of the ANC Ward 18. He says he's a member of the ANC in good standing. And I must just add to you that Mr. Ralebese, he was the man behind taking the ANC to High Court to fight that, to challenge the leadership that was in question. Let me turn to him to explain to us how he feels by the NEC decision that was taken in Irene to ensure that the ANC PEC in the Free State is disbanded. Mr. Ralebese, good morning and welcome, and thank you for taking your time to be with us. The NEC is meeting in Irene. We heard that last night a decision was taken that the KZN and the Free State NEC PEC must be disbanded. Your take on that?
We as members of the African National Congress in the Free State are obviously very pleased and disheartened by the decision of the National Executive Committee to finally conclude this matter and make sure that we do not continue to meet each other in courts, and that matters of the ANC are handled and taken care of internally. It now gives us an opportunity to make sure that we build, we renew, and we unite the African National Congress in the Free State. You will recall that there were a number of court cases in the Free State, and in the beginning there were many who said that those who went to court are disgruntled or were not even members of the African National Congress, when the contrary was actually true. And now finally the National Executive Committee of the ANC has affirmed the decision of the Bloemfontein High Court to declare as null and void the illegal provincial conference of the ANC in Paris and to have an interim structure in the Free State established. So we are extremely very pleased with the outcome, and we welcome it, and we will embrace it, and we will do everything that it is that we can to ensure that we build, we renew, and we unite the ANC in the Free State.
Now that the decision has been taken by the NEC, who do you want to see running the day-to-day activities of the ANC in this building that we are here, that we are standing in front of?
Obviously, it would please us that the interim structure, which will be set up by the National Executive Committee, must be all-inclusive. It must not only be those who supported this or that other candidate towards the 54th National Conference of the ANC. It must include all those who are members of the ANC in the Free State, no matter which candidate they may have preferred. It would please us a great deal if this decision of the ANC NEC is implemented in such a way that it is a foundation on which we build the processes of renewing, building and uniting the ANC in the Free State. In a nutshell, we would prefer an all-inclusive provincial task team or interim leadership corps to take over the affairs of the ANC in the Free State.
Going back to last year in November, December, when the court sat down, the court found out that more than 100 ANC branches in various districts, the branch general meetings were not done properly. Now is a chance to go and self-correct. When would you like to see the ANC Provincial Conference taking place?
You will recall that part of the evidence which was submitted was that more than 32% of the total number of branches in the Free State were not properly constituted. It would be preferable that a time frame and a timeline takes into consideration the fact that the rebuilding, the renewal, and the efforts to unite the ANC in the Free State is not bound by an extremely very short period of time. A period of 9 months, a period of 6 months would probably, in my view and in the view of many members of the ANC in the Free State, be the most appropriate one to ensure that not only do we continue to host a provincial conference, but that even at the level of the regions, even at the level of the branches, that the ANC is built from the bottom through to the middle, right up to the highest level in the province through the properly constituted provincial conference.
Well, there you have it. That is Mr. Mahlomola, who feels vindicated by the decision taken by the National Executive Committee of the ANC that is currently sitting in Irene in Pretoria to deliberate on the matters of the Free State and the KwaZulu-Natal. And let me hasten to tell you that attempts were also made to get a comment from the current members or who were previously in charge of the ANC, that is the provincial spokesperson and the provincial chair. All concerted efforts were made to get hold of them, but obviously we couldn't reach them. But at this stage, this is the situation in the Free State, that we know that the PEC that was elected in Irene can no longer continue to sit in the office and function. An interim structure will obviously have to kick in and run and see to it the running of the functions of the ANC in the Free State. And with me, it's back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much to our reporter out in Bloemfontein in the Free State. That is Ishmael Bodeba. And of course, we're looking at the news that the NEC has decided that the Free State and KwaZulu-Natal PECs be disbanded. And of course, both provinces are now calling for a very swift provincial elective conference to take place very soon. And of course, some members are very glad that internal matters are finally being dealt with internally and not the courtroom. Let's take a quick advert.